Got some important dates to talk about, and it's officially draft month, boys and girls. What is up, Finn fans? Today is April 4th. I was going to make this video, and then they extended Xavier Howard, and then they traded Devontae Parker. But now Monday, the 2nd, or the 4th, I don't even know what day it is anymore. Tell by the title, we're going to be talking about draft needs for the Miami Dolphins heading into the 2022 draft. But that's not the only thing we're going to be talking about today. There also is some important dates, and today is one of them. So without further ado, we're going to jump into that real quick with what is essentially important dates when it comes to off-season workouts, minicamp, and all that stuff. So today being April 4th, it is the first day that the team is getting together. It is the first time that the team is getting their playbooks, all that good stuff. Whatever you want to think that they're doing it now. Training. They're probably doing their physicals, and they're trying to see who's in shape, who's not in shape, all that stuff. And then voluntary minicamp starts April 19th to the 20th. So again, it's voluntary. If you guys remember last time Xavier Howard wasn't there, everyone was losing their mind the fact that Xavier Howard wasn't there. But this is all voluntary. And then OTA offseason workouts start May 16th to the 17th, May 19th, May 23rd to the 24th, May 26th, June 6th to the 7th, and June 9th to 10th. And then mandatory minicamp is June 1st to the 2nd, and then they get a nice long break. And then training camp starts, I think, July, mid-July. I don't have those exact dates, but there is your important dates. So again, today they're meeting together. This video is going to come out early on Monday, probably like 10 o'clock-ish. So if any news breaks today when it comes to today's meeting, and if any cool information, stories or pictures or whatever comes out of today's meeting for the first time, I'll make a video later today. But yeah, that's the news and the notes that I wanted to give you on important dates from today. Let's talk about what the title's about. And essentially, I'm going to be talking about draft needs. What do we need going into the 2022 NFL draft? Now, I did a poll here, and I did a poll on Twitter, because for the past 3 years, I did the top 5 positions, top 5 players at every position in the draft. And then I thought to myself, for one, we have 4 draft picks this year, and for 2, some positions we don't need, and we're not going to draft. So should I really break them down? And sometimes I do it for people that aren't Dolphin fans that are subscribed, kind of give them an idea of what's out there. So I was like, do it. So I sent out a poll, and here on YouTube, you guys, essentially 22% of you guys were like, yeah, do it all, and 78% of you were like, nah, just do what the Dolphins need. And on Twitter, 28.6% of you guys were like, yeah, do it. And then 71.4% were like, nah, just do what the team needs. So I'm just going to do this year what the team needs. Next year is a horse of a different color. Let's talk about that real quick. Draft picks. The Dolphins have 4 draft picks this year. That sucks. But when I talk about team needs, you'll see probably why they only have 4 draft picks. They have the 3rd round pick number 102. That is their first pick in this draft. It's going to be a long Thursday and a long Friday before we get to our first pick. They have the 4th pick, which is pick 125, and they have 2 7ths, which are pick 224 and 247, and then that is it. I wouldn't be surprised if they use those 2 7ths and potentially try to get back into the 6th, get someone that they like, or they would just not delay. A lot of times the 7th round picks, especially late 7th round picks, you take a player that you don't want to have to compete as an undrafted free agent to get after. Like Blake Ferguson, we took him kind of early, but it was like a situation where the Dolphins didn't want to compete with other teams to go after him. That's where those 7th round picks come in. 2023, though. 2023 is a horse of a different color, because 2023 Miami Dolphins have a good amount of draft picks, and 2023 is about doing the opposite of what they did this year. This year they went big in free agency, going after, go watch my recap video, but they went after some really big names, and they're on the team for a minimum of 3 years, some of them 2 years. Next year, they have 2 first-round picks, one of their own and one of the 49ers, only 1 second-round pick, their own, 2 third-round picks, their own and the Patriots, a 5th-round pick, the Bears' 6th-round pick in the trade for Jakeem Grant, not their own, and their own 7th-round pick. So within the first 3 rounds, they have 5 picks. And again, that's ammunition to do whatever you want, or that's also the possibility of drafting whoever you want. So this year is a big year, because they went hard in free agency. They got rid of a lot of draft picks. They traded away picks, yada, yada, to bolster this team and make it a situation where you don't need that much going into the 2022 draft because of how much talent they have added. And that's where we get into the needs. Like what positions do the team needs, right? And obviously, and it's already started, where people are going to come on and say, well, we need a quarterback. Hopefully, you better say quarterback, Doug. Better say quarterback. That's my response to the people who are so in denial, and it ain't just a river in Egypt, that they can't get past it. And you know who you are. The Dolphins are not drafting a quarterback this year. Why do you think they have 5 picks in the first 3 rounds next year? Okay? Just going to have to suck it up for this year. And if Tua doesn't ball out, he's going to be gone. If he does ball out, shut up at that point. Because you know for a fact, if Tua balls out and he goes to the Pro Bowl and the Dolphins make the playoffs, and if they win a playoff game, and again, I'm saying if because I'm not guaranteeing any of this, all those people, well, he only did it because he had a stacked team around him, and because this happened, and it's only because, but if, and their heads are going to explode because they can't take it. So, no, quarterback's not on there. Safety's not on there. We still have Eric Rowe on the team. We still have Javon Holland. We still have Brandon Jones. Clayton Fedulum came back. Safety's not a need. Wide receiver's not really a need anymore. Bringing in the, Tyreek Hill, bringing in Cedric Wilson Jr., Lynn Bowden, Waddle, wide receivers. Like, they might take a wide receiver in the 7th round, potentially as a return guy if they find a speedy guy that they like. But that's not a top need. In my opinion, wide receiver's not a need. Pass rusher, I wouldn't say. You got Andrew Van Ginkel. You have Jerome Baker. You have Emmanuel Ogbah, Jalen Phillips. Even defensive tackle, I feel like the defensive line isn't that big of a need. Christian Wilkins. But you could say to Christian Wilkins' replacement, but Zach Sealer, Raekwon Davis, there's a lot of guys on that defensive line. That's not really a need either. So I'm kind of like beating around the bush, but let's jump into the needs. And number 1 on my list for needs, it's a toss-up. I'm going to say 1A, 1B. Linebacker. Middle linebacker, to be specific. And because they brought back the same exact linebackers. Like, literally, it's the same exact. The defense is the same. I'm trying to think if they added anyone new to the defense. No. Defense is legit the same. It's the same defense. And they struggled really bad against the run. Go watch the Titans game. Struggled real bad against the run. And they brought back the same exact linebackers. And the middle linebacker core, you have Landon Roberts, you have Duke Riley. Ain't doing much for me. So middle linebacker. But again, you got to remember while I'm talking about this, our first pick is pick 102. You're not going to get a big... I'm saying you're not going to get one, but that doesn't mean it can't happen, because we've seen 3rd round picks all of a sudden have great rookie years and people are like, I can't believe you fell to the 3rd. But it's unlikely, I'll say that. You're going to get someone stud, middle linebacker in the 3rd round. But that's definitely a need for me. Another need, center. If you go look on the roster right now, the only legit center that the Dolphins have on this team is Dieter. Everyone else is a guard that might play center or a tackle that could play guard. The only center on the team is Michael Dieter. And he had a fluke injury last year that kind of knocked him out. So the Dolphins need a center. Now, is center going to be the first pick, the 103 pick, or is that going to be linebacker? And then, then fourth round, 23 picks later is just. But to me, center, unless they go out and J.C. Treader, again, they made a lot of cap space room by trading Devontae Parker and redoing Xavier Howard's contract. I think they're sitting at around 20-something million in cap space, 22, 23. So if they go out and get J.C. Treader, then center is not a big need for me anymore. Linebacker still that need because Bobby Wagner went to the Rams. And I think Van Der Esch went back to the Cowboys. Off the top of my head, I don't think there's any linebackers that I can really say that'll help the team out a lot. So linebacker, corner, center, jumped ahead of myself, corner. Now, Doug, we have Byron, we have X, we have Nick Needham. This year, Noah Igbinoghene, don't forget about Noah. Give Noah a chance. I know a lot of people want to poo-poo on Noah and say he needs to go. I'm going to give Noah a chance. Just like I'm going to give Austin Jackson, Tua, all these guys a chance. I'm going to give Noah a chance. Corner. What if Byron's gone? Now, these are all like third, because after the third and fourth round, this draft is going to be so boring for us Dolphin fans. After the third, fourth round, your corner, again, there are the weird anomalies, Tom Brady's, that either even undrafted guys come in and start producing right away, but it's not a guarantee and it's not likely. But corner, because Byron, he might not be here next year. X is definitely going to be here next year. Nick Needham's on his second round tender, so will he be here next year? So corner and punter. We don't have a punter right now, and everyone knows who they want to get. I'm not even going to say it. Just leave his name in the comment section. The kid booted an 80-yard punt. We all know the punter they want to get, and I don't think any of us would be upset if at pick 102 the Dolphins took this punter. If you know what I'm talking about, comment below. I'm pretty sure everyone knows who I'm talking about. But you look at that, right? Because, again, we have 4 picks. 2 of them are in the 7th round. It's kind of like the Dolphins did a really good job in free agency going into the draft, kind of like we could just take whoever we want. And I think that was the thought process. And I think that's why they probably thought to themselves, pick 29, we'd go at wide receiver, try to, add a wide receiver, try to add a tackle or something. And they got Teron Armstead. So they thought, all right, we'll trade you guys our first and second for Tyreek Hill, because we're going to use it on a receiver anyway, and he's a proven commodity, so why not do that? Because there's not much. Like the linebacker core, going into the 2021 season, my biggest worry and issue was the wide receivers and the offensive line. And they both ended up being an issue. This year, for me, the biggest issue is the linebacker core. I do not like the middle linebacker situation. So for me, that's top. And I think that Michael Dieter didn't do too bad. But again, I'd still like to add, he's the only center on the team. I still like to add a proven veteran to help that situation out. And we don't have a punter. So that's kind of where I'm sitting at now. Because again, I don't think we need a cornerback. Some people will say that. I'm just going to ignore you. I don't think we need a wide receiver, defensive end, safety, even like defensive tackle. Running back, there's a potential of us taking a running back with the third, but to me, honestly, I think linebackers are more pressing need than running back. And the guys I want aren't going to be there. So I might still break down running backs. Essentially, this is the positions that I'm going to break down in my top 5. I'm going to do linebackers, center. I'll do corners. I'll do running backs. I'll do tackles. That's probably it. I'm not going to do quarterbacks. I'm not going to do defensive ends. I'm not going to do defensive tackles. I'm not going to do wide receivers. See, this is why, some people might be like, I want to know about them. You know what I'll do? I'll breeze past the ones that the Dolphins don't need. Maybe I'll throw them in a giant video where I kind of just talk about them real quick. And I'll go more in depth like I normally do for the positions that the Dolphins do need, which is linebackers, centers, corners, running back. Because again, I like who we have at running back right now. But I still want, it's not a need as of right now, adding Edmonds and Mostert and we have Gaskin. We brought back Ahmed. Garrett Dokes is still on the team. But I still want that legit number one running back. And the Dolphins don't have that right now. They're still going by committee, and I'm wondering if that's Mike McDaniels. And I think that is Mike McDaniels' MO. But yeah, that's what I'm going at. So again, draft needs for me for the Miami Dolphins: linebacker, center, corner, running back. That's about it. If you disagree, comment below. And if you say quarterback and then not say I'm joking, I'm just not going to read your comment because you just don't understand the assignment. But comment below. Let me know if I missed any or if you think differently of needs going into the draft. And I'm going to get to comment of the day. And I haven't done a comment of the day in a minute. And I do apologize for that. It's just been absolutely crazy town lately. And I've been banging out videos. But you guys are killing it by still leaving comment of the day. So I appreciate you guys. And this one comes from Friday Night Filmdom. I'm dumb. And he says, or she says, comment of the day. Let's not forget, if Mike McDaniels is the real deal, that's another huge win for Greer this offseason. After Flores firing, our franchise looked as lost as ever. Now there is a much excitement from film fans as you've seen in years. If you add in the McDaniels hiring, does that change your grade for offseason moves? And essentially, because he's asking, my offseason free agency grade was an A. I said it would have been higher if we got a center or a middle linebacker. And I don't consider the coach hiring a free agent move because it happened before free agency. But Mike McDaniel's addition is one that I'm apprehensive on, and I talked about that when they hired him because I don't know what he's going to do. I know what he's capable of, but I don't know what he's going to do and if that's going to translate to us or translate to now being a head coach. I had high hopes for Gase, and then 2016 happened, and I had really high hopes going into 2017. And then I was like, you know what? Let me give him some excuses because 2017 was a snake-bitten year, and then he crapped the bed. And then we brought in Brian Flores, and I'm like, well, he just came off beating the Rams in the Super Bowl, held them to no points. 2019 was 2019, still had a lot of hope and a lot of life to it because he had the wins 5-11, with nothing, 10-6. I'm like, all right, here we go. Trust the process. He's not signing or doing anything in free agency, but trust the process. 1-7. Oh my God. So I'm a wait and see type of person. If you notice when I talked about free agency, I've never said we're going to the Super Bowl, we can be champions. I've never said any of that stuff. The most you got out of me was we have a chance to compete because I'm a wait and see type of person. That's why a lot of people call me like, I think it's like fence hop, and I'm not a fence hopper because I don't go from one side to the other back and forth, but I sit on the fence essentially. I don't make a decision. People want me to make a finite, definite answer before I have all the facts. That's not me. That will never be me. I'm not going to come out and say things and all of a sudden the facts come out and it's complete opposite because then you look like a big dupe with egg all over your face. Like people wanted me to say the two was a bust after what? He played 8 games, give or take. That's not how that works, people. This is the year. But I wouldn't put Mike McDaniel in on my free agency grade because he wasn't a free agent and it had nothing to do with the free agency moves or Greer's move in free agency. But I am excited. And if he is what I'm being told and if he can do what I've seen him do with the 49ers and the defense could stay the same, I think this team can be real dangerous. We'll talk more about that later. But on that, guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. Like I said, today is the first time the teams are meeting and the players are getting together, all that stuff. So if anything happens today, I'll make a video later today. But other than that, like usual, stay classy. Fins up.